What if the animals we only know from dusty bones once moved through a world someone captured on film? Most creatures that vanished left nothing but skeletons buried in rock. But some animals left something far stranger, real footage. Someone aimed a camera at them right before they slipped away from Earth forever. Today, you are going to see 7 of those final moments, and some of them you might wish you had never watched. Number 7. The Caspian tiger. Imagine a tiger emerging through a forest dusted with snow. Not in the jungles of India, not in the frozen wilds of Russia. In Iran, this was the Caspian tiger, a creature so few knew existed it almost felt like a myth. These great cats claimed territory from Turkey across to China, stalking riverbanks and vanishing into dense woodlands. Males could reach over 500 pounds, placing them among the biggest felines ever to walk the earth. What set them apart was their coat, a thick, shaggy layer that stood up to bitter mountain cold better than any other tiger. Then people came. Soldiers were ordered to eliminate them, so farmland could expand. Woods went up in flames. Waterways were diverted for cotton fields. The prey they depended on, deer and wild pigs, disappeared. Hunger set in. Hunters finished off the survivors, not for survival, but for sport. Slowly, deliberately, they were erased. By the 1950s, sightings had nearly stopped. The last confirmed Caspian tiger fell in Turkey sometime in the early 1970s. Then came a revelation that shifted everything. Genetic studies revealed they were nearly indistinguishable from Siberian tigers. Now there is a plan to return Siberian tigers to the landscapes where Caspian tigers once roamed. The footage you are watching may be the final recording of a Caspian tiger in existence. Her name was Sarah, a tigress who lived out her days in a zoo in Hamburg, Germany. Number 6. The Eastern Cougar. The Eastern Cougar was recognized as a distinct subspecies in 1946. By 2011, it was declared gone, but that classification is now being questioned. Cougars flourish in the west and some are slowly pushing eastward. A handful have already appeared where they have no business being. Picture something slipping between the trees after dark. 4 legs, a long tail. It should not be there. Yet once these cats ruled every forest east of the Mississippi, 160-pound hunters owning the night. Thousands moved through the shadows, clearing 40 feet in a single bound. One strike could crush a deer's throat. Then settlers arrived. They cleared the woods. The deer disappeared. The cougars began to starve. The few that held on were hunted down. By the 1930s, people whispered about ghost cats. The last confirmed sighting was in Maine in 1938. Then something strange happened. Trail cameras in Michigan caught a large feline moving through darkness. State officials confirmed it. A real cougar recorded where they had vanished nearly 100 years ago. 14 verified sightings surfaced in 2020. By 2025, that number climbed past 20. Scientists believe these are western cougars drifting east, but no one can explain why they keep returning to the territory the ghost cat once called home. Number 5. The Spix's Macaw. The Spix's Macaw were a shade of blue so deep it looked like someone had stolen a piece of the sky and taught it to fly. First recorded in Brazil during the 1600s, later named after a German naturalist who collected a specimen along the San Francisco River in the early 1800s. This bird called only the dry northeastern forests its home. By 2019, scientists declared it gone from the wild. These birds moved through the harsh Caatinga landscape, clinging to existence along thin strips of riverbank and nesting inside hollows of ancient cariba trees. Poachers took them one after another. By the mid-1980s, only 3 remained. Trappers captured those too. By 1990, a single male was left, kept in captivity with a different kind of parrot for company. A female was brought to join him in 1995. She flew into a power line and died within weeks. In October 2000, that final male disappeared. Then, on a June morning in 2016, a young woman named Damalis rose before dawn in the town of Curaçao, Brazil. Her grandfather, Pimpim, had carried a dream his whole life of watching this bird soar. He passed away at 94 without ever seeing it. Families walked into the forest that day and captured footage of a Spix's macaw moving through the trees. That short, grainy clip became the last known recording of one existing in the wild. What you are seeing now is a ghost caught on film. Yet the story did not end there. Conservationists took 2 captive individuals and grew their numbers to 200. In June 2022, 8 were returned to those dry forests. More followed before the year ended. For the first time in 2 decades, the blue wings once again painted the Brazilian sky. Number 4. The Formosan clouded leopard. The Formosan clouded leopard claimed Taiwan as its only home. For 15 years, scientists hid over 1,500 cameras across the island's wildest forest. Not one image emerged. Not a single frame. It is now gone. This cat once moved through misty jungles and cloud-wrapped peaks like a whisper. the island's second largest hunter. Indigenous communities called it lulu and regarded it with deep reverence. Its ankles twisted backward, letting it race headfirst down trees, a skill almost no other cat can match. Its fangs were so long for its size that researchers compared it to saber-toothed beasts of ancient times. Then hunters arrived, logging stripped valleys bare. The leopard lost every place to hide. By the 1970s, sightings had nearly faded to memory. In 1983, a hunter in the Tao Mountains saw one, the last confirmed encounter. This grainy footage is believed to be the final recording of a living Formosan clouded leopard, a ghost drifting between leaves. In 2018, rangers in Taitung County swore they watched one climb a tree and stalk goats along a cliff. No photo, no evidence. Only a quiet promise that somewhere in those mountains, Lulu might still be watching. Number 3. The Javan tiger. The Javan tiger claimed Java as its own for 100,000 years. It crossed land bridges during the Ice Age and settled on one of the most crowded places on Earth. Then in 1934, a camera captured this tiger for the final time. During the 1800s, these cats were everywhere, so numerous that hunters were paid to eliminate them. Forests once covered a quarter of the island, and every shadow seemed to hold a tiger. They were smaller than their mainland cousins, weighing roughly 220 to 310 pounds. But a single strike from their paw could snap a horse's leg. Their stripes ran thinner, as if nature had chosen a finer brush. Then Java's population swelled, forests became farms. By 1938, trees covered only 23% of the island. By 1975, just 8%. Disease swept through the deer herds. Starving, they wandered into villages, and villagers poisoned them. By 1972, only 7 remained. By 1976, 3. After 1979, silence. Hidden cameras revealed nothing but empty jungle. That 1934 film is all we preserved. A few seconds of blurred motion, 100,000 years erased. But the story may not be finished. In 2019, US people reported seeing a large cat near Sukabumi. A strand of hair matched Javan tiger DNA by nearly 98%. Indonesia launched a search. The jungle has yet to give up its answer. Number 2. The Kauaʻi ʻŌʻō. This bird stood as the final thread of an entire evolutionary line. Not one species fading, but a whole branch of the tree of life snapping off forever. It inhabited the wooded slopes of Kauaʻi, a small creature cloaked in dark feathers with splashes of gold on its legs and eyes like sunlight. It drifted between blossoms, drawing sweetness with a slender, curved beak. Both sexes possessed voices that echoed like wooden flutes through the misty air. The island's original people gave it a name that mimicked its call, ʻŌʻō. Then the intruders came: rats, mongoose, wild hogs, mosquitoes carrying sicknesses it had never faced. It fled upward into the Kauaʻi wilderness, a pocket of forest so isolated few ever entered. But those heights lacked the old hollow trees where it once raised its young. By the early 1960s, perhaps 34 remained. In 1981, a pair was seen. Then a hurricane tore through the island and the female was gone. The male lingered alone. He was last seen in 1985. His voice was captured on tape in 1987. The footage you are watching, recorded by scientist John Sincock in the 1970s, is the final moving image of this creature. You are witnessing the last remnant of an entire family perched on a limb in a forest that could no longer shelter it. What makes this strange is that the ʻŌʻō had been written off as lost twice before, once in the 1940s and again in the late 1960s. Each time it reappeared. After 1987, it did not. In October 2023, it was formally removed from the roster of species still awaiting rescue. 20 million years of existence concluded with a stroke of ink. Number 1, the western black rhinoceros. The western black rhino no longer exists. In 2011, officials declared it extinct. This animal once roamed parts of Africa distinct from all other rhinos. But help came too late. When researchers finally searched, they found nothing. Picture 2 massive beasts locking horns in the wild. That footage may be the final recording of them in motion. During most of the 1900s, nearly 850,000 black rhinos populated Africa. Their eyesight was poor. These towering creatures relied on small birds called oxpeckers to perch on their backs and signal danger. A giant that could crush a vehicle needed a bird no bigger than a fist to survive. But even those helpers could not protect them. Hunters killed too many. Farmland swallowed their territory. In the 1950s, demand for rhino horns surged in Asia, and poachers flooded in. By 1980, only 135 remained. By 1992, just 35. By 1997, only 10 survived, scattered so far apart they could not find mates. By 2001, just 5, then silence. In 2006, a team searched across a vast stretch of Africa for 6 months. They found nothing. This blurred clip may be the last time anyone ever sees them move. Not in captivity, not behind fences, just gone. 7 creatures erased. All that remains are these recordings.